Thank you everybody for coming back to my channel. I really appreciate the support. So previously, if you've watched my other videos, you've seen that I've done a differential install on a 2005 GTO. So one thing people had asked about is what I did with my exhaust. So luckily I have some spare parts lying around. If you have a factory exhaust system on a General Motors car or pretty much any car, what typically happens over the years is all of the bolts get corroded. These are the problem areas on most factory cars. Now you might be able to get this section off, or you might be able to get these off, but the problem is once this bolt comes off, it might snap, and then you're left with half of a stud, or the bolt could snap off at the flange, and then what you need to do is either cut the stud off or get the hole drilled back out, and maybe you could do a nut and a bolt, but that's a lot of work, and sometimes people just can't do that. This could be so corroded it's falling apart. So on my car, a lot of my cars, I run these band clamps. These are called a butt joint band clamp. They're stainless steel. On my GTO, I actually put one here, and I put one in this area, or it was this area, I can't quite remember. Now, one of the things I wanted to go over was that I had taken footage from a longer video on doing the differential, and what I wanted to do was insert that footage into this video so you guys could see how I took the exhaust down, put the exhaust up, and then installed these band clamps. I really like them. They do a great job of being able to get your exhaust out of the way. I mean, why is that important? Well, on the GTO, a lot of times the exhaust has to come out of the way for doing a clutch, pulling a transmission, changing the drive shafts. So, a lot of guys want to run the a one-piece drive shaft, changing the drive shaft hanger bearing, doing the differential. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why the exhaust has to come out all the time on these cars, and at least with these clamps, you can easily take it down and back up again in one piece if you do it this way. So here's that footage. I'm going to insert it in the video now so you guys can check out what I did removing and installing. Okay, so here we are under the car. Now, my car has the Stainless Works exhaust. It's stainless steel. It is, what I'm going to end up doing is taking it off the car in one piece. I don't want to take it off in sections, because when you have an exhaust system that's set up like this, where it actually clamps together, what ends up happening is the nuts on the clamps end up being so rusted that when you try breaking them loose, you basically just snap them off. And sometimes when you're trying to get the pipes apart, they're so rusted together. I know it's stainless steel, but sometimes there's corrosion and buildup over the years, and you just can't get the pipes out. And if you can get them out, sometimes you can't get them back in, and then you have fitment issues. So I'd rather bring the whole thing down in one shot. Now, if you're laying under a car to try and pull your exhaust down, it's always good to have a couple jacks. So when I say jacks, I mean heavy duty ones, not those little thin ones. I mean like a big floor jack. It's good to support the car safely, and then what you can do is you can loosen your exhaust, bring your jack up, unhook the final part of the exhaust, and then lower the whole thing with your jack. What I'm going to be doing is using a trans jack. It's the same concept, but it's just done a little differently, obviously, because I'm up on a lift. I can't get a floor jack up this high to pull the exhaust down. So I'm going to try and pull this down in one shot. I have a couple spots that I can remove. Right here and right here I have some aftermarket band clamps. When I rebuilt my transmission, I put these band clamps in place because I knew in the future this would have to come out at some point again, and it was much easier in dealing with all the rusted bolts that are on the factory part of the system. So that's what I'm going to work on now, getting this exhaust out. Hopefully this lighting works. I tried a new lighting rig, and hopefully it's nice and bright so you can see what I'm doing. trying to get one of these clips off. Let me show you real quick. These clips keep the bushings from moving. What I'm going to do is pull it off and actually put a hose clamp in place. That way it makes it easier for removal later, because those things pretty much rust out. Now, another thing I had to do, because I did this repair on the side of the road, if you ever have these OEM rubber mounts break, the stainless work system only uses one hanger. So it only has one of these, and it snapped and the muffler fell and hit the ground. I threw hose clamps on it. I actually like this better because it has a metal connection versus just rubber. So I'm actually going to put this back in. So that was the footage. You saw that I was able to get the exhaust out of the car in one piece and then back up again in one piece. And then after fiddling with the hanger bushings and installing the clamps, it was much easier than taking each part of the exhaust down. I figured this would be a helpful tip, or at least what I like to do is catalog what I do to my cars, because down the road I know I'll probably get another GTO and it's just the same modification I'll do to a future car, and I like to see different ways that I do it. You could even put that clamp in different spots. It doesn't necessarily have to be where I chose, but anywhere where you have a nice flat spot. Probably up here would be better, just because it'll be easier. I don't know why I chose there. It's just where I chose when I did this car. Thank you again, everybody. I really appreciate all the feedback and the support, and everybody who's been coming to me and keeping in touch. It's really cool having a channel, because I get to meet some awesome GTO gurus and people who just love working on these cars, and I really appreciate everything. So thank you very much, everybody. And if you have any comments or any ideas or things you want me to do to my car, please comment below. I really appreciate the feedback, and have a nice day.